Hi, this is Britt Dahlbeck, and this is my video blog on ethical violations and disciplinary actions in the state of Hawaii. So the state of Hawaii is actually a little bit different. We don't have a state regulatory board for mental health counseling. However, we are licensed through the Department of Commerce and Consumer Affairs, and they handle all of the complaints as well as all the disciplinary actions for mental health counseling. So I went onto the website. It's actually very easy to navigate and find. And they have actions, they release them every few months for any disciplinary actions they've had. And then there's also a database that you can look up any previous ones from years prior. So the interesting thing that I found is I was only able to find 2 disciplinary actions in the state, which was really shocking to me. I thought there would be more than that. But the 2 that I did find were significant. So one was an impairment case and another was a fraud case. So I guess the theme for Hawaii would definitely be that the cases that I found were definitely significant and they were serious violations. So the case that I looked at was the impairment case. And in this case, the counselor allegedly spoke to a client over the phone after consuming alcohol. So there's some state statutes that were in violation as well as the ACA code. So the state statutes that were in violation is section 453D-12A4, which states a licensed professional will not practice while impaired by alcohol, drugs, physical disabilities, or mental disabilities. There's another statute that I thought could apply to this case, and that was Hawaii State Statute section 453D-12A8, and that stated engaging in conduct or practice contrary to recognized standards of ethics for the licensed professional. So I thought it's great that Hawaii puts in their statutes that you should also be looking back at the actual ethics of the profession to also see if they are in violation. So the ACA Code of Ethics in 2014, section C2G on impairment, states that counselors should refrain from offering any professional services if they are impaired. And it also states in that paragraph that we should be really conscious, counselors should look after themselves and make sure that they are not impaired. At the bottom of that paragraph also talks about the responsibility of counselors to each other. And so if you see a counselor that is becoming impaired or is impaired, it's important to report that or to speak to them, and just to protect, always protecting the clients, and we have their interest at heart. So this case, I looked at the settlement documents. There was actually the disciplinary actions and then the public document of the settlement. So this counselor said that this was an isolated incident and the counselor took immediate corrective action. The record actually states that this counselor self-disclosed, and so they came forward and self-disclosed what had happened, and then that they had completed professional treatment program, an intensive inpatient program in California, and was actually currently enrolled in an intensive outpatient program here in Hawaii. So part of the disciplinary action was that the counselor would pay $500 fine, and this counselor would also have to complete the intensive outpatient program here in Hawaii. If they did not complete that, then their license would be revoked. If the license would be revoked, you cannot practice in the state for 5 years. And when you go to reinstate your license, you will have to do all of the applications as if you have never been licensed in the state before. So when I started to look at what the ACA code and what the state says about impairment, it's very much the same. And you're really talking about doing the client no harm. And so something that really stuck out to me was that this counselor took the initiative to put themselves into a rehab program, to really take it seriously and not see clients. And I think that's really what the spirit of the ethical code is about, is doing no harm. What I would be interested in as a question is, was this counselor on their own in a private practice, or were they working with a bunch of different counselors, and were they able to get help from other counselors for this issue of impairment? Thanks so much.